welcome again to Let's Talk, where we talk, teach, help, analyze, work smart, and collaborate with you. I'm Karen Keeler. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to create a template wherein it will have multiple sheets that will contain the same contents and same format across all sheets. So let's start. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen right now. And what I have here is actually a list of names and some of the features and functions that we will be using when we create the template. Now, like what I've mentioned, we will be creating a template with multiple sheets. And what I would need to do here is I would need to insert the sheets first. So I have here the list of names that I want to appear in all of our sheets, and I want to have a sheet for let's say January to December. So that's what I would be doing right now. Now, for us to be able to do that, we need to insert our what do you call this, our sheet. For our tabs first. So let me just insert them right now. So we will need to create 12 sheets. So let's do that. Okay, now that we have 12 sheets, the next step that you need to do is very important, because this will allow you to be able to create your or to be able to apply everything that you will do in one sheet across all sheets. And this is the select all feature. So how do you select all the sheets? You just need to go to any sheet name, do a right click, and then you will see there select all sheets. When you click on that option, it will automatically select all the sheets that you have in your active file. Now there's also another way to do it. It's by clicking on one end of your sheet, and then by pressing your shift key, you go to the last sheet in your file, and then you click on that tab. That will also try to highlight everything, and that would mean that this all the sheets have already been selected. Now it's time for us to be able to put in the names. So I have here a list of names. So these are fictional names. I will just copy it and then paste it here in our sheet. Now it's important to check if all sheets are selected, because this is very important. Now I will just paste it here. So I've pasted all the names. I will just make an adjustment here on the column width, and then I will show you what it actually did across all sheets. If I go to sheet 2, sheet 3, sheet 4, and so on and so forth, you would see that the list of names have also been pasted across all sheets. So that's what select all will do. That's why it's very important that when you're trying to do this, all your sheets are selected. So let me just do that again. Now, the next thing that we need to do is create a table, or create a format wherein we would be putting in data later on. So since this is going to be a monthly sheet, I would need to create columns that will represent every day in a month. So the maximum number of days in a month is 31. So what I would do here is just place 1 to 31 as my header in every column. So I will just type here 1, all right? And then by clicking this, I would go to fill, and also go to series. And then you will see here that the step value is already indicated 1, is already indicated as 1. So this means every time it goes it will progress, it will just add a value of 1, and then it will stop once it reaches 31. So when I click on OK, so you have to make sure that the value that you have here is a series in rows. So when you click on OK, it will already auto-populate all the cells that you have from 1 to 31. Now what I will do here is I will just highlight everything again, and then adjust the cells or the column width so that it will fit in my screen. All right, so I have them here now. Now I would just like to again, highlight or put a format on my header. So I will just go here to styles. No, not that one, but I will just choose accent 6, and that would be my style for the color of my header. And I also would like to put in a border. So let's just go here and then put borders. Now, the next thing that we need to do, so let me just go here and check. So we're still into formatting the cells and then filling the series. Now, what I want to do next is to put here a label that would indicate the month. So I will just type here January. Okay. Now, the thing is, I want every um, cell to have the name of the month for every sheet. This is something that we will need to do manually later on. But in while we are trying to do this, I will also show you some tips on how to be able to um, make sure that we are going to populate every sheet with the correct number of days. Because let's say for January, you have 31 days, but for February, it will only have about 28 days. All right. So for us to be able to determine how many days there are in a month and not do it, not do it manually, we have to come up with a formula. And these are the formulas that we will be using. So I will go back to our list again. We would be needing the functions EOMONTH or end of month, day, if, and then sum. Sum later on is going to be added as a column, but what we would just really need would be EO month, day, and then if. Now, if you are one of my students in my Excel class, this is something that I have already taught you. So this is something that you can apply when you try to create your templates. But if you're not yet a student, it's not too late. I have classes every month and you can still register. Just look into, I will be posting it somewhere in my, if you're watching this via YouTube, I will place it here. If you are in watching this in Facebook, I will also indicate the link where you can register. By the way, I have also, just so that you get to see how we are teaching Excel in our class, there is a paid, there is a module that I have um, shared publicly, so you can access this for free. Again, you can go to our description, just look for that, and I'm going to share the time and date functions, class, or module. And again, you can access that for free. To be able to get the practice sheet, you just need to go to a link that I will indicate also in the description, and so that you can be able to, so that you may be able to practice along with me while I discuss this through the video. Now, going back, we will be making use of these functions: end of month, day, and then if. But to be able to use it, we need to set up a cell so that we can use it as reference when we use end of month, day, and then our if functions. And this would be the one that I have highlighted in yellow. Now, this is the month that I have indicated here, January, is actually a text, and it is not considered as a numeric, or it's not a numeric value. And what do I mean by that? When you go and click the comma style in our number format, it will not do anything. It's still regarded as text. But if I put here one, let's say 1/1/2021. Okay, that is that is a date, but it is also considered as a numeric value, because when I click on this, the comma style, it will give us a serial number. Again, this is something that I have discussed in my class. Now, this is something that we need because we need to be able to use this as reference later on when we try to determine how many days there are in a month. So in this case, if I bring this back to the date format, it will give us January 1. Now, for me to be able to bring out January, as in spelled out as January, I just need to go again to my number format and then go to custom. Now, in the custom field, you need to go to the type and then type in 4Ms. All right. Now, in the sample, you will already see that it is. Let me just take a look here. Okay, it is already showing the word January in the sample, so that when I click on OK, it will now give me the word January. So this is now something that I can work with. So even if I put here 2/1, it will give me February. So if I put here 12/5, it will give me December. So let me just put it back to January. So let me just format it now. So I will make it bold and then put it, let's put it on the center. All right. Now, the thing is, if I want this, I now want my days to be indicated based on the month that I have here on this cell. So if I have January, I will have 31 days. If I have February, this will have 28 days. But we need to set it up. So for us to be able to do that, we just need to make sure that we have number 1 set here on the first column, and then we will now put the formula here in the second column or in column B. Now again, like what I've mentioned, we will be using end of month. So let me, we'll be using end of month, day, and then if. Now, what we want to do is, the concept is, we will just keep on adding 1 if the previous cell is below the maximum number of days for this particular month, right? So how would we know what is the maximum number of days in a month? We can make use of the function EOMONTH. So I will just type it here. So let me just make a adjustment here so that you can see what I will be typing. So when we put here EOMONTH is actually going to return the last day of the month before or after a specified number of months. But we need to indicate first the start date. Remember, the entry or the data that I have here in this cell is actually January 1, 2021. So this is actually a start date. But I don't want to know what would be the end of month before or after that that date. So I want to know, again, if you go back to the meaning of or the definition of EOMONTH, it will return the serial number of the last day of the month before or after a specified number of months. So I just want to know what is the end of the month of that particular date. So I will only be putting 0. Okay, so this will be our start date, and then as for the number of months, I will just put there 0, and then it will give me 44227. So this is again a serial number, but if I convert it into a date, it will give me January 31. So this is actually giving me the last date. Now, I will just show here how I was able to create that formula. Now, my next goal is just to get 31. So how do we do this? We can make use of the formula day and then indicate the date or the serial number, which is January 31. And then we will be having 31 as our result. So again, going back to what we wanted to do, we want to keep on adding dates only if the previous cell is less than the maximum number of days in that particular month. So if the previous cell is still less than 31, we will just be adding 1 for every cell that we have. So that's the main logic of what we are going to do. So now that we are able to do this, we can actually combine these two functions. So how do we do that? We can put here day, and then instead of using a helper column, we can already use EOMONTH, and then indicate the start date. The start date will always be this label that we have indicated. So let's put in, make it an absolute reference. Again, absolute reference is taught in our class. So here, we will now be able to get the same value, which is 31. So if you're just going to look um, at the formula, so this is how it was created. So unlike this one, we need two cells to bring out 31. We can already put this particular formula in one cell. So again, we want to know if if the previous cell is less than the maximum number of days, we will just keep on adding 1. So how do we do this? We will now make use of our if function. So if, and that's going to be our next function. So if, and then our cell here would be C4. So if C4 is less than 31, so what we need to do here is put in the formula. So if C4 is less than 31, which is day EOMONTH, and this is going to be our start date, we will put an absolute reference, make it 0. All right, so if C4, or the previous cell, is less than 31, then what it will do is it will just add C4, okay, plus 1. If it's not if it's not less than the maximum number of days, or maximum number of days for that particular month, it will give us blank. So this is our else, all right? So, or the value if it's false. So again, if the previous cell is less than the maximum number of days, which is day EOMONTH V3O, it will add 1 plus 1. If not, it will be blank. So let us now press enter, and it will give us 2. Now, if I will now do this and then copy it and then drag it across until our last column, it will still give us the same. But this is where you will see how the formula is being applied. If I now change this and make it February, or just put in Feb1, you will now see that the last 3 columns are blank because February ends on the 28th. Now, if we will make this, let's say April, so April is represented by 4/1, you will see here that the number of our headers will only end until 30. So that's how you can automate your headers as far as putting in this is concerned. So let me just bring this back to January, because we will need to input this manually later on when we try to create or when we try to finish our template. Now, the next thing that we need to do also is try to eliminate the other, the other columns, because it doesn't look nice aesthetically. So let me just put February again. So putting February here will give us, 3 blank rows, or rows that are formatted, but they don't have anything in it. So there is a way to make this disappear. Okay, we will not hide it, but we will just make it disappear. So let me just put it back. Now, before I go into that, let me just add another column here so that we can have a total. Okay, so a total column. So for the total column, and I just want to, let's say, have the same format, I just need to highlight that. Go to Format Painter and then click on it, and it will have the same format. So let's, this is already okay. Now, whatever you put in here, it may be whatever value, or let's say you want to count the attendance, you want to do, you want to add sales, you want to add value, etc. You can put anything here, but in my case, I just want to put here, let's say, I just want to add volume. So let's say this is a template in putting in volume. So I will just type here sum, and then highlight all the cells in the row, and then I will have that as a result. Now, if I don't want 0 to appear, let's say in the other months, you don't want 0 to appear as your result, you can also put there an if, let's say an if function or formula. So let's say if this formula, which is the sum of the rows, of the row rather, is equal to 0, then leave it blank. Else, you put in the sum again. All right, so that's how you can create your formula. So let me just see if I have everything. All right, so I will just copy this again and then place it on the succeeding rows. So this is what will happen if there are numbers in that in these cells. So if we have therefore, you will have therefore. Let's say I'm just going to put random numbers here. So you will see that they will just keep on, numbers will start to appear only if there is a value that is not great, that is not equal to 0. All right, so if I try to take this out, it will be blank again. So that's how we are going to set up our total. Now, going back to what we wanted to do. If this is February, I don't want 29, 30, and 31 to appear, or I don't want the green headers to appear. So there is a way for us to do that, and this is using conditional formatting. Now, before I go further, let us just check how do our other sheets look like. So again, I'm clicking at every sheet, and they all appear to be the same. Again, this is because of the select all function. Okay, now that I have selected all again, let us try to continue and format our cell. So what we need to do here is conditional, make use of conditional formatting. Um, all right, let me correct myself. Conditional formatting can only be done per sheet. So we won't be able to do this. Let me just try to do this in one sheet. So let me do it in sheet 1. All right. Now the reason why I was able to say that right away, when all sheets are selected, you will see that the conditional formatting button is grayed out. So that means that it is not available if everything is selected. So we will just make use of 1, and then use the format painter later on, so that it won't be hard for us to apply it across all cells. So now that we have this template, we just want to make sure that these will not appear, or the excess days will not appear if or format rather the so let me just use February as our example. So anyway, so now that we are back we're going to use February as our example. Now, when we try to, we can, what we want to happen is take out this format. So we want this to be white again. So meaning there's no fill, there's no border that will be applied if the headers are blank. So this is how we can do it. You just need to highlight the whole column that is going to be part of your table. And then the next thing that you need to do is click on conditional formatting, and then create a new rule. Now, in the new rule, you just click on use a formula to determine which cells to format. And here I will just type if, this cell, which is going to be, let us take out the, okay, hang on, we will just make some adjustment. If there, if $4 is equal to blank, right? So that's going to be the formula that should be satisfied. If it is blank, then there should be no format. So how do we do that? So let us try to let me just put this down. There should be no fill, so the no color should be chosen. So let's click on that. And then another thing that we need to do is for the borders. I don't need the borders here, but for us to be able to do that, we just need to click on the top, right, and bottom borders. Do not click on the left because that will affect the edge of your last day column. So let us take out by just double clicking. So that will already take out the borders from your from the format. So let's try that. So that's going to be once you've clicked on OK, just click on OK again. Okay, so once we have already set up the conditional format, all we need to do is highlight the row again, or highlight the selected cells that we have formatted. Click on Format Painter, and then we just apply it on the next cells until the 31st column. So when we do that, right, let us just wait for this to apply. I think I'm having problems with the memory. I think I have too many applications open, but this will eventually disappear. So you will no longer see these three cells. Let me, oops, right. So again, that's how it should look. Let me just press function 9 or F9 so that we will be able to see how it will eventually look. Okay, it's actually taking time. Sorry about that. But let us move on because I will not do anything here. I will just this will eventually disappear later on. Now, the next thing that we need to do right now is once we are able to format this, we can already copy it and apply in the succeeding sheets. So let us try to do that. Again, I will not do anything because I know that I have already formatted it. If I just go, you can also make a quick check by just selecting the last column, clicking on managing rules, and then you would see if the rule has already been applied for that particular sheet. So let us see if it has been applied. All right. So I will just copy this one, or not copy, but highlight it rather. And then it's important that you double click Format Painter. Okay, double click Format Painter means that every time you click on a certain cell, it will just keep on um, pasting the format or applying the format that you have chosen. So when I do this, okay, it will take effect in the succeeding sheets. So I will just keep on doing it. Here, I just need to make sure that I am selecting the right area. So I'm always choosing one. All right, so that's how we are going to do it. So let me just go to the last three sheets. All right, there you go. Now, once you're done, just press on escape so that you can already disable the format painter. Now here, I will just type in December 1 so that it will have December as my what do you call this, as my month. Now I'll go here to the next one and I will put November 1, right? And it will have, again, I apologize because it's not updating real time, but we will just go there later on. So here we are in the 10th sheet, so this means this is October 1, and now we go to sheet 9. So this is, so just let me just make the necessary adjustments here. So actually, when if you are into creating, it's going to be very it's going to be easy for you to be able to do this, you know, because you are actually automating the yung computation instead of um, creating templates wherein you would be manually input all the dates, etc. So this is actually going to be helpful because it will actually help you lessen the time in creating your sheets. All right, so let me bring this back to January 1. All right. All right. So let us just wait for it. I apologize. I have, if you noticed, I have a lot of, have a lot of sheets open. Now, this will, now that I am going through the cells, you can already see here that in January it went back to 31. For Feb, it's now at 28, and you will no longer see any format on the cells for the 29th to the 31st. So that's what I mean by using your conditional formatting. So again, I'm just going through the different sheets, and you can already see that it appears that certain columns have already been erased. It will appear to be erased. Now, I'm just clicking randomly at the totals column, and you can still see that there is a formula on these cells. Now, another thing that we can do here is, again, I will select everything, and I don't want the grid lines to appear. So all I need to do is select all sheets and then go to view and then take out the check mark on the grid lines checkbox. So it will now appear to have a clean one, a clean worksheet. Now what I will do is I will just take these out because we don't have a need for it, so that we can have a cleaner worksheet. I will make an adjustment here. All right, and now you have a worksheet or a template that you can already use for your file, or for monitoring. Now, what I'm going to show you also, because you might be asking, now I have to, rename my sheets. Well, you can actually rename it by just, clicking on it and then typing, let's say, January. Now, that's going to be, you know, um, uh, you really need to do it manually. But there is also a way for us to do it, and this is just an extra. This is just a tip that I will be sharing with you. There is a way for us to be able to apply the same the name of a certain sheet based on a content of a cell. All right. So let me just show you how. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is a macro feature. So what we need to do is we can automate a renaming of a sheet, and I will teach you later on how you can do it. But first, we need to set up again a certain cell so that that would be the reference to be used whenever we would try to run a macro. Now, I will just be using A1, and this is where I would be placing my what do you call this? This is where I would be placing my reference. Now, again, we need to select all sheets. So let's do that. Right. So let's select all. Now, what I want to do is I want to copy the text format of this cell, the one in B3. So to be able to do that, you just need to copy B3. But let me just expand it. This is how it looks like. But again, this is still in a numeric format. So how do I create this, or how do I format this into a text format? Now, the way to do it would be even if I, copy, even if I copy and then paste it as values, it will still give me, okay, let me just wait. So it will still give us the numeric value. It's still going to be January 1, 2021. So what we need to do here is use the text formula. So that's going to be text. And then the value that we want to transform or to convert into text would be this one, January. And then what would be the format? So again, we make use of the same format that we used earlier. It's going to be 4Ms. All right, so that's how we're going to use our formula, and it will give us January. Now, this is where we will now copy and then paste it as values because this is already in a text format. So just use paste special and then choose values and then click on OK. All right, so if you go now to the succeeding sheets, you will already have the names, the months spelled out as or in a text format. All right, so that's where we will be. This is what we will be using. Again, I will make this into a what do you call this? I will select all, and then you have the option if you want to hide it, but then again, we would be deleting it later on. So let us just leave it as is. Now, the reason one thing that I mentioned earlier is we would be making use of a macro. Now, this is something that I just searched online, and then for you to be able to automate a sheet name, you have to make use of this program or command. So I will be sharing this with you later on. Again, this will be part of the description. And you just need to use this and then paste it in your macro. So how do you do this? You just go to the developer or the developer menu. If you don't have it yet, you just bring it out by going to your quick access toolbar, go to your more commands, and then bring it out using your customized ribbon. So just put a check in your developer checkbox so that you can bring out the menu. Now, when it's out, you just click on macros, and then you just type there a macro name. So that I'll just put here sheet name, and then create. Now, what you need to do now is like what I showed you. So let me just go back. I will just copy this one. So this is the thing that we need to put here. So this is actually the command that it will follow. So what it just means is whatever your active sheet, if you're in a certain sheet, it will take the name of the cell that is found in A1. Okay, so if you want your, let's say, if you placed your reference in B1, then you have to make sure that this cell is placed as B1. So once you're done, you can just close it, and you can already apply this particular macro. Now you have to make sure that when you are doing this, that there are no special characters involved, because you can our sheet name can only contain a maximum number of characters. So if you are going to violate those rules, then this macro will not work. So since this is already in January, let me just go to sheet 2, and you can already just click on macro and then run. So by just clicking that, I have already renamed my sheet as February. So if I just go to the other sheet, I will just go to macros and then let it run. All right. So this is how we are just going to rename our sheet. So I hope this helps in creating a template for you. So you don't have to fuss over in creating a cert, or you don't need to spend a lot of time creating your template, and then you just keep on formatting. Sometimes there are situations wherein you're using the wrong shade of green or wrong shade of red, and you have to redo it again. So this is actually a way for you to be able to do it in such a short time. And I hope that this has helped you in creating a similar file. So again, let me just remind you also that I have classes going on every month. So you just need to go to letstalk.com/Excel training. Sign up because you will be receiving notifications whenever I have new tutorials like this one. If I have promos, and also you will get to receive notifications of the schedules and rates of my training. And also don't forget that there is I have shared a module on date and time functions in my YouTube channel. So just go there. If you sign up, like what I've mentioned, you will also get to have a copy of the practice sheet so that you will be able to follow and type as I teach you how to use those functions. So again, thank you very much for joining me until the end of this tutorial. I really appreciate it, and I hope you can give a like in our in our post. Please share it. I would really appreciate it if you can share it with others, because definitely it would help others save time also in creating similar files. So that's it for now. Thank you again. See you next time.